In this package, 150 civil servants begin information communications technology training at Ministry of Science and Technology. Fire got 7-room tenement building on Accra Road, Uyo. State Command of Nigeria Immigration Service intercepts migrants of ECOWAS sub-region. Details of these and more in a moment. Good morning and welcome to AKBC 45 News at Dawn. I am Blessing Isonrio. The first batch of 150 civil servants in the state are undergoing Information Communications Technology (ICT) training at the Ministry of Science and Technology, Uyo. Flagging off the training, the head of the civil service, Mrs. Cecilia Odoisian, advised the participants to make maximum use of the training to equip themselves with the knowledge gained. The story is presented in our
Ministry of Science and Technology for partnering with her office in order to effectively equip the officers in the service with computer skills to meet the demands of the 21st century digitally driven workplace. She also praised the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Nestor Udo, for the transformation that has taken place in the ministry and for effectively utilizing available resources. The head of civil service announced that the ICT training will be continuous, assuring that the next batch will begin their training after the present state must have completed theirs in the next 2 weeks. She congratulated staff and students of Air Force Comprehensive School Uyo for being selected to represent the state at an international science competition holding in South Africa this month.
I believe that those of you chosen to benefit from this training program shall make maximum use of the opportunity. From what I have seen of the external view of these premises, I can only imagine what I expect when I commence the inspection program.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Nestor Udo, explained that the 150 computers have been acquired for the Ministry's Computer Center. He knows that the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board has approved the Computer Center for the conduct of JAM computer-based test examinations beginning from September this year. The ministry will embark on free training on e-examination procedures for JAM candidates in Akwa Ibom State who have registered for the September examination beginning from June. Dr. Nestor Udo also said that the Central Research and Development Laboratory has been equipped with modern analytical equipment. He also explained that the ministry has been able to secure accreditation from the Prime Minister of Environment and the Department of Petroleum Resources to operate as certified handlers of water, sewage, and air samples, as well as conduct environmental impact assessment for oil and construction companies and industries. The Permanent Secretary announced that students of the Air Force Comprehensive School who won prizes at the National Schools Science Competition at Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, have been selected to represent the state in another competition in South Africa.
The Research and Development Laboratory (RDL) of the ministry has been equipped with modern analytical equipment, and in January we were able to secure accreditation from the Federal Ministry of Environment and the Department of Petroleum Resources (DPR) to operate as a certified environmental monitoring consultancy.
High point of the event was the inauguration of the ICT Training Center in the ministry by the head of civil service, Mrs. Cecilia Odoisian.
There was wailing and grief on Monday night when tragedy struck at number 124 Accra Road in Uyo. The inferno, which raised a 7-room tenement building, consumed virtually every property in the building. Conducting AKBC News round the wreckage, the landlord of the destroyed property, Mr. Edoro Konodoto, said he was away from the premises when the tragedy struck. Property destroyed included clothing, furniture, kitchenwares and market wares, which belonged to some of the tenants. Mr. Dotun told AKBC News that he has no idea what could have caused the fire and appealed to government, religious organizations and public-spirited individuals to come to his aid and that of the tenants.
So good on down to the Mebu government, Yamosinua and Nomin. So the Mubama is dependent. I'm more saying when we can make a Mama
Some of the eyewitnesses and tenants also appealed for assistance.
So from Kerem Kenkan, and some Suname. If I was in the county, if I was in this book, some government, and came in menu.
I was sitting down here washing clothes. As I was washing clothes, I saw a smoke coming out from the house. So I have to tell the person that was sitting behind me that smoke is coming out from the house. And we now rush to report it to the woman. Report to them. We went and reported to them. As we want to carry water and enter inside the house has been heated. No way to enter again. So as we started trying our best to pour water to make the fire, the fire now explode. There is no way to enter inside the house again.
59 migrants of ECOWAS sub-region have been intercepted by the State Command of the Nigeria Immigration Service. Of the number, 51 are from Burkina Faso, 4 from Benin Republic, 3 from Togo, and 1 person is from Cote d'Ivoire. The migrants who are currently in the custody of the Immigration Service are said to have been intercepted in Itu, in a CUO luxurious bus with registration number XB180GWB, a transport company based in Lagos. The people who cannot speak English language or understand any of Akwa Ibom languages are suspected to have entered the state through any of the expansive routes without valid travel documents. Speaking with AKBC News, the State Comptroller of Immigration Service, Mr. Garba Abdullahi, said that the case has been reported to the state government while arrangements are on with the transport company that brought them into Akwa Ibom State to evacuate them to their countries in line with the law. The immigration board said that the presence of migrants in the state or country constitutes security risk as they are vulnerable to recruitment into criminal activities. The comptroller, who commended Governor Akpabio for his valuable contributions to the maintenance of security in the state, called for more cooperation from indigents by reporting strange faces in their community to the Immigration Service.
It is the whole on immigration within the commands to monitor how they enter, what they intend to do, regulate them. Even those who enter legally, we must know what they are doing. But those who enter irregularly, like what we have here now, at any point they are apprehended and arrested, and it is discovered their entry is irregular, you repatriate them immediately back to their home countries. They were apprehended in a bus. So the Act and regulation says where situation you find a PI, what we call a PI, prohibited immigrants. That's what they are now. You ask the vessel or the aircraft owners, or as it is now, the transport owners, to remove them immediately with the next available means.
It's time for a short break. Please don't go away because we have more news for you after the break.
This is a public service announcement. The government of Akwa Ibom State wishes to bring to the notice of visitors and residents of the state steps to take in preventing the incidence or spread of the deadly Ebola virus disease in Akwa Ibom State. The Ebola virus can be contacted through any of the following ways: contact with the body fluids of those who are visibly sick from the disease, contact with the corpse of somebody who died from the disease, contact with an animal that is carrying the virus, especially fruit bats and monkeys. Symptoms of this deadly disease include sudden high fever, persistent headache, diarrhea, vomiting, general weakness, joint and muscle ache, sore throat, chest pain, internal and external bleeding. To prevent this disease, wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Keep your environment clean and properly fumigate your surroundings if you have pests around. Report any suspicious symptoms in yourself or anyone to the nearest health facility immediately you notice them. Medical personnel should use personal protective equipment when handling suspected cases and corpses. Be careful when handling dead bushmeat. Spread the message. Tell your neighbors, colleagues, domestic staff, family members and friends. Akwa Ibom is safer when everyone is educated about Ebola. For more information, call the helplines 0812 769 8984, 0812 769 8959. 0812 769 8949. Ebola heals fast. Spread this message faster. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Communications, Akwa Ibom State.
Glad to have you back. Following his installation as the pioneer chancellor of the Richmond University, Ikot-Ekpene Governor Godswill Akpabio has promised to use his contact to attract goodwill to the institution to help it to rank among the best private universities in the country. The governor was speaking at the public presentation of license by the National Universities Commission to Richmond Investment Limited to run a private university in Ikot-Ekpene. The ceremony was held at the premises of the institution in Ikodobiadem off Umuahia Road, Ikot-Ekpene. Edema Sangaye was there.
Governor Akpabio assured the National Universities Commission that the Richmond University, the 58th private university license in the country, will survive beyond 5 years probation period because God's will is involved. He thanked the chairman and governing board for selecting him and noted it as a great honor. The governor described the Richmond University as a fitting tribute to the status of Ikot-Ekpene, adding that the university complements the infrastructure provided in the town by his administration.
I want to assure you that I will support Richmond University. I will discuss with you on ways and means of ensuring that we strengthen what we have done so far, even from the academic aspect up to infrastructure. To the NUC, you said if this university can survive the first 5 years, it will survive because the university is associated with God's will.
The chairman, board of trustees and proprietor of Richmond University, Senator Emmanuel Rebel-Oshien, who provided the operating license to the gathering, lauded the Federal Ministry of Education and the NUC for granting the license. Senator Rebel-Oshien paid tributes to the contributions of the Richmond University Implementation Committee, university license. He said the university will open its doors to students in the 2015-2016 academic session in 3 faculties with 14 departments as approved by the NUC.
I present to the public the provisional license to operate as private university serial number 58.
The Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Julius Okoje, urged the management of the Richmond University as one of the 61 universities licensed in the country not to put itself out of the market. Okoje was represented by the Deputy Secretary, Professor Chedu Mafiana.
It is desire that they do not derail research. Consequently, the University of Uyo has been charged to mentor and ensure that we properly ingrain into this young university the traditions and culture of the university system. You are also to ensure that every quality assurance practice that NUC has established is gradually and steadily ingrained into that system.
Professor Ahaziah Omana noted that the university is strategically located and accessible from major cities such as Uyo, Calabar, Ubonhia, Aba, among others.
We are gathering here to honor knowledge for development. Carve your names on human stones, and you would have made your footprints on the sands of time. The university is an institution for universal knowledge.
Chairman on the occasion, Senator Oneti Ekun, applauded the feat of getting the operational license and hoped it would endure as one steadily rising in academics. The ceremony also witnessed the presentation of Professor Nsongura Udombana as the Pro-Chancellor of Redman University, members of the Governing Council, members of the Committee of Proprietors, and members of the Board of Trustees.
The National Council of Women's Societies has hosted Nigeria's First Lady to a farewell and award ceremony. Japan has approved draft laws to expand its military's role. This and more in our national and foreign news segment with Mesika.
The National Council of Women's Societies, Nigeria, has hosted Nigeria's First Lady, Jonathan, to a farewell and award ceremony. At the ceremony, goodwill messages were presented to the First Lady by various women groups. The First Lady was appreciated for giving Nigerian women a voice and was described as the mother of the nation. The National NBC has a June deadline to switch over from analog to digital broadcasting is no longer feasible. According to the Director General of NBC, Mr. Emeka Mba, the major constraint to the realization of the switchover plan was of finance. Mr. Mba has, however, expressed confidence that the digitalization of Nigeria's broadcast industry will be a tremendous development to the nation. Moving on now to the foreign scene, Japan approved draft laws which will expand the military by allowing them to fight overseas for the first since World War II. With the new Japan now to defend other countries comes of US-Japan's guidelines as the two countries respond to China's increasingly assertive military in the region. Japan's new moves could worsen China as the two countries already have feuds from war and territorial disputes. China hopes Japan can learn from history and choose a peaceful development. It is expected that the will at least 9 people have been killed by gunmen at in Afghanistan. 2 of them shot the police. Afghan claimed responsibility, saying they deliberately targeted because an ongoing event at the time of shooting had in it including Americans. The Vatican has agreed to a treaty recognizing the This comes just days before the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is due to visit Rome. It is extremely encouraged by recognition. Countries like France, Republic of Ireland, and Spain have all passed non-binding motions in favor of the Palestinian states. Israel has expressed disagreement over the move and will not the peace process.
Thank you, Mercy. Events leading to the burial of the late village head of Mbiakpani Didep, Ibionibom local government area, Tedong Jackson, Akpano Dofia Kanem, and now in progress, the late Chief Jackson Kanem, popularly known as JAU and fondly called Obonwo, died at the age of 85. A funeral statement signed by the first son of the deceased and chief mourner, Mr. Bassi Jackson Kanem, shows that mourning house has since been opened at the chief's compound, Mbiakpani Didep, while condolence visits continue. A novelty football match is scheduled for today, Friday, to be followed by Night of Songs by 6 p.m. in the deceased compound, to be conducted by Presbyterian Church, Idide Parish. The remains of the late village head will be laid to rest on Saturday, 16th May, in his compound at Mbiakpan Idide, after a funeral to be conducted by the Idide Parish of Presbyterian Church at School Mbiakpan Idide by 10 a.m. Late Chief Ekanem was a committed member and chorister of the Church of Scotland Mission, now the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria. He served in various capacities in the church, where he represented the Calabar Presbytery, Commissioner for Northern Calabar Parish in the Synod, Assistant Session Clerk, and Member, Financial Committee of the Calabar Presbytery. The late Chief Jackson Ekanem worked with the Nigerian Eastern Mail, a newspaper outfit, a Jamaican, and later joined the UAC Marina Calabar. Late Chief Ekanem also worked with the Internal Revenue Service in 1957, where he served in Uyo, Abak, Obudu, Calabar, and Ikom, and served in various capacities as Motor Licensing Officer, Calabar, Assessment Authority, Ikom, and as Internal Auditor of the Board of Internal Revenue in Calabar. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Nkoyo Jackson Ekanem, Mrs. Enobong Yongekwere, as well as Mr. Yongekwere of News Directorate of AKBC's son-in-law. You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45Uyo, on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. That's our package for this morning. But before we go, another look at the top stories. 150 civil servants have begun training on Information Communications Technology, ICT, at the Ministry of Science and Technology in Uyo. Fire has gutted a 7-room tenement building located at number 124 Aka Road, Uyo. That was the news. Thanks for watching, and do have a blessed day ahead. Good morning.
Accurately informative, knowledgeably innovative, beating other stations as regards network coverage,
and bringing on the spot and live coverage of events with
captivating and entertaining programs. It's AKBC Channel 45, the ultimate in television broadcasting.